the future of naval air power is already sailing the seas and barely anyone noticed? What if the most important aircraft on a carrier does not even have a pilot inside it? And what if a single piece of new footage just confirmed a shift that could change how wars at sea are fought for decades to come? New footage has now confirmed that China's newest aircraft carrier, the Sichuan, has begun testing the integration of what appears to be an unmanned long-range stealth fighter believed to be from the GJ-11 series. The aircraft was first seen sitting on the carrier's lift and later positioned on the flight deck itself, just hours before the ship departed for its second round of sea trials. That timing alone has raised eyebrows across the defense world because it suggests this was not a random deck drill, but part of a carefully planned test sequence. There is still a possibility that the aircraft spotted was a full-scale mock-up rather than a fully operational platform. Navies often use mock-ups to practice deck handling, aircraft positioning, and launch recovery procedures long before real aircraft are risked at sea. Even so, the presence of a GJ-11-shaped flying wing on the Sichuan is significant because it aligns almost perfectly with what analysts have expected from this ship for nearly half a decade. The Sichuan belongs to the new Type 076 class, a design that blurs the line between a traditional aircraft carrier and an amphibious assault ship. At around 50,000 tons displacement, it is larger than most carriers currently in service worldwide, yet smaller than the massive supercarriers operated by the United States. Its most important feature, however, is not its size, but its launch system. The Sichuan is one of only 3 carrier types in the world equipped with an electromagnetic aircraft launch system, better known as EMALS. This system allows the launch of heavier, more diverse aircraft with less stress on airframes, making it ideal for both advanced manned fighters and large unmanned platforms. For years before the Sichuan was launched in December 2024, it was widely expected to serve as a dedicated carrier for unmanned fixed-wing aircraft. In particular, long-range flying wing designs like the GJ-11 were seen as a perfect match for the ship's concept. Seeing something that closely resembles a GJ-11 on its deck now strongly suggests that these expectations were not misplaced. In parallel with naval developments, a land-based variant of the GJ-11 began its first known deployment with the Chinese Air Force in October 2025. This marked a major milestone, showing that the aircraft had moved beyond the prototype and testing phase and into operational service. Adopting such a platform for carrier operations is a complex task, involving strengthened landing gear, corrosion protection, precise flight control software, and seamless integration with shipboard systems. The fact that deck handling tests may already be underway suggests China is moving faster than many expected. Flying wing aircraft like the GJ-11 are not designed for dogfights or extreme maneuverability. They do not aim to outrun or outturn enemy fighters. Instead, their strength lies in high-altitude, long-range operations and exceptionally low radar signature. Their shape minimizes radar reflections, while internal weapon bays allow them to carry payloads without compromising stealth. This makes them ideal for deep strike missions, reconnaissance, and the suppression of enemy air defenses. The concept is not new. The United States pioneered the operational use of flying wing stealth aircraft with the B-2 Spirit bomber, which first flew in the late 1980s. While the B-2 program proved that such designs could work, it was also extremely expensive and produced in very limited numbers. Despite its mixed success, it demonstrated the immense potential of flying wing stealth platforms, a lesson that appears to have been closely studied in China. If deployed from carriers, GJ-11 squadrons could offer a uniquely powerful capability. Taking off from ships positioned far out at sea, these aircraft could strike targets at long range while remaining extremely difficult to detect. Their launch points would be unpredictable, their flight paths hard to track, and their radar signatures minimal. This combination complicates enemy planning and places enormous strain on air defense networks. The GJ-11 is not the only unmanned stealth fighter under development in China. Other programs are reportedly pushing toward higher levels of maneuverability and autonomy. One of the most ambitious among them is the Dark Sword project, which is believed to aim for a highly agile, potentially air combat-capable unmanned aircraft. Together, these efforts point toward a future where unmanned systems play a central role rather than a supporting one. At present, the Chinese Navy's J-35 fifth-generation fighter remains the only stealth aircraft in the world integrated with a carrier equipped with EMALS. Alongside the American F-35B and F-35C, it is also one of the very few carrier-based stealth fighters operational anywhere in the world. However, once the Sichuan and its full air wing enter service, that balance is expected to shift significantly. The Sichuan began its first sea trials on November 14, 2025, marking the start of what will likely be an intense testing and refinement period. Its hybrid nature makes it especially interesting. Based loosely on the lighter Type 076 amphibious assault ship, it incorporates features normally associated with full-sized aircraft carriers. There is no direct equivalent to this design anywhere in the world, making it a potential turning point for Chinese naval aviation. While China pushes forward, it's worth remembering that the US Navy has long been interested in stealth carrier-based aircraft. As far back as the 1980s, plans were underway to introduce such capabilities. The cancellation of the A-12 Avenger II program and the impracticality of navalizing the F-117 caused major delays. Later, post-Cold War budget cuts ended plans for a carrier-based F-22, or a stealthy successor to the F-14 Interceptor. As a result, the F-35 remains the only stealth aircraft deployed from carriers in the Western world. Even then, it is not expected to reach full high-intensity combat capability until the early 2030s, once the long-delayed Block 4 upgrades are fully implemented. This gap has created space for alternative approaches, including the use of unmanned stealth platforms. The apparent progress aboard the Sichuan suggests that China may be positioning itself at the forefront of this shift. Advances in artificial intelligence, secure data links, and autonomous mission management make unmanned carrier aircraft far more viable than they were even a decade ago. If successful, this model is likely to attract interest from other carrier operating nations watching closely from the sidelines. What we may be witnessing is not just the testing of a new aircraft, but the early stages of a transformation in how power is projected from the sea. A carrier deck once dominated by manned fighters could soon host silent, pilotless stealth aircraft designed to strike without warning and vanish without a trace. Subscribe for more updates and comment below to show your opinion.